Wasted World of Sports, ahoy! How are we all doing tonight? Thursday night, 2023 NRL Premiership carries on. Buff! God damn it, KO! Oh, what a start this is, KO. We start the stream with a KO Sports buffer. Of course. Hey, has anyone been following along? Michelle tipped me off to it, actually. Facebook, every post that KO Sports makes is just people screaming at them to fix their bollocks. Fix your bollocks, KO. We don't pay for this stuff to watch the little green circle go around. But unbelievable. As soon as I go live, boom. It was a very quick buffer, but a buffer nonetheless. All right, yes, welcome along. Thursday Night Footy. Penrith Panthers, who have not quite clicked yet in season 2023, taking on South Sydney Rabbitohs. Going to be a tough game to call. I think it will be a close game. I have personally gone for the Panthers. I think they're not far off, and when they click, which may not necessarily be tonight, but when they click, you know it's going to be a disaster for the team that they're up against, because they will just absolutely slaughter them. For the Rabbitohs, they won their first round match, but they were only playing the Sharks. Let's remember that. And I'm allowed to insult the Sharks because that's my team, and they were awful. I really don't think Souths were as good as the pundits are making out in that round one clash, because the Sharks were the second worst team of round one. Easy. If the Bulldogs weren't as disappointing as they were, I would have had the Sharks as the worst team of the round by a long, long margin. But the Bulldogs were really disappointing, weren't they? So this game, it was a very hard one to tip. It really can go either way. But I've gone for the Panthers at home. I can't imagine any scenario where the Panthers lose 3 games at home at the start of a season. But having said that, I suppose if it is going to happen, it will likely happen at the start of the season more so than the end. Premierships are not won or lost, of course, in March. So really, teams are still just feeling each other out and seeing how things go. So, might help if I put the logos on the screen for tonight's game. Penrith Panthers at home against South Sydney. And yes, Michelle raises a good point in the chat room. Latrell Mitchell was battling injury. He's playing tonight, but when you're battling fitness like that, you do have to question whether the player is at 100% or not. But then it's Latrell, isn't it? Latrell's Latrell. Latrell's Latrell. He doesn't have to be at 100% to. He doesn't have to be at 100% to either knock the house down with a big game or suck the life out of an entire stadium. He's a very polarizing player, Latrell Mitchell. Oh, sorry. It wasn't Michelle that raised it. It was Vobsy. I got confused with all the spanners. When I look over at the chat room, I see from the right-hand side of the window over to the left, I see spanners first. And then everything else just... Get your act together, KO. Okay. I pay $160 a month for fantastic internet. Like, amazing internet through Aussie Broadband. It is not my internet. Every time this gets raised to KO, they're like, it must be your internet. We couldn't possibly be doing anything wrong. It must be you.
If they do go down to South Sydney, who are absolutely electric last
Oh, the thumbnail. Yeah, actually, so that's my head on Liam Martin's body. It's funny. When my parents were around the other night, and I was showing Dad how I put the graphics together, and I used the Penrith Panthers one as an example. Son of a bitch. my dad goes, "Oh, you look like you've lost a lot of weight. Good job." You smart ass. I love my dad. I definitely take after my dad in the smart assery department. That's for sure. He taught me well. Captain Redbeard, ahoy there, mate. How are you doing? We are counting down to kick off here. Just 9 minutes to go. I'll tell you one thing that I did get right last week. I told you Sonny Luke is a more than capable replacement for Api Koroisau, and that he would come on and make a difference. He did come on and make a difference. Panthers are probably not even in that game at all, let alone only losing by 1 point, were it not for Sonny Luke. But they're not too far off the Panthers. It's just they're not losing games comprehensively like the Sharks or the Bulldogs did. Sharks and Bulldogs got absolutely smashed. Panthers aren't missing out by a lot. So they're not traveling as... People are just so not used to seeing them lose that when they lose a couple in a row, oh, it's like it used to be for the... Dare I bring up the Melbourne Storm? But it's like the Melbourne Storm used to be. They would lose a game and suddenly it's like, here it comes, the demise of the Storm. And here we are in 2023, and the Melbourne Storm are still a force to be reckoned with. So I wouldn't be reading too much into anything just yet. Happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? Whose birthday? Ah, Captain Redbeard. Another trip around the sun. Welcome along. Tasaga Fagayo. Ahoy there. Welcome to the Wasted World of Sports. Oh, happy birthday, Captain Redbeard. I'll drink to that. Of course I will. Ah, yes. Homebrew. I mean, that's the real deal there, isn't it? The real deal. Homebrew. Anyway. Oh, let's talk about multis. Same game multis. But before that, before the game kicks off, okay, I've got 7 minutes. We've still got plenty of time. Same game multi. Dylan Edwards. Anytime try scorer. See, I went for him last week and it didn't quite pay off. Got a feeling about him this week. I don't think Dylan Edwards will have 2 questionable games in a row. Even if the Panthers themselves do, I don't think Dylan Edwards is going to be that quiet. And let's face it, the guy was just coming back from injury. So Dylan Edwards, anytime try scorer. Same deal with Brian To'o. Brian To'o was kept rather quiet. I think big game incoming. Big game incoming for Dylan Edwards and Brian To'o. For the Rabbitohs, Alex Johnston. Did he even get on the score sheet last week? I don't think he did. They were just making such inroads down the Talakai-Moylan channel on the right-hand edge. It was Campbell Graham who was enjoying all the action. So I've covered myself off here for the Rabbitohs. I've put Alex Johnston and Campbell Graham. Anytime try scorers. So if I can get 3 out of 4 of those, at least I get my money back. If I get all 4, $200 dues. And that I would most certainly drink to. All right. It's a little Johnny Walker Black. The Holy Spirit. I'm filled with it. Okay. How long have we been going? And already I'm getting blasphemous. Rightio. Moving right along. 5 minutes until kickoff. Penrith Panthers, South Sydney Rabbitohs. So, Jai Arrow is out. For the Rabbits, Tevita, Tatola out. If you'll remember from last week's game, both of those guys suffered concussions. Scott Sorensen and Zach Hosking out for the Panthers. I would say that Jai Arrow and Tevita Tatola are going to be big losses. Much more so than Sorensen or Hosking for the Panthers. That's the thing with the Panthers, isn't it? You can pretty much slot anybody. Although Luke Garner needs a big game. I'll talk about Luke Garner. He needs a big game. Coming from the West Tigers, I had him in the World Club Challenge. I said, look out for this guy to have a big game. He's a reliable player, but he's come from the West Tigers, so he hasn't really set the competition alight. Put him in this Panthers system, and suddenly you could have a superstar standout performance on your hands. Didn't quite happen, did it? Luke Garner is pretty much running around in the Panthers lineup, still in a West Tigers jersey. He needs to lift his standards. He needs a big game. Will it happen tonight? In terms of prediction, I think this one will be a close game. I've got the Panthers. Refuse to believe that the Panthers will go 3 losses on the trot, let alone 3 losses on the trot at home, if we include the World Club Challenge, and we probably should, even though it's not part of the Telstra Premiership. I've got the Panthers winning this one, though. 20 points to 12, I'm going to say. If I have to make a score prediction, my score prediction will be 20 points to 12 in favor of the Panthers. It still won't be a completely on-song performance by the Panthers, but they will get home. Because like I said, I don't think the Rabbitohs are that on-song either. They got made to look a lot better than they actually are by my team, my crap team. My bloody shambles of a team, bunch of plonkers, the Sharks. I might be a little bit unhappy. Sharks are going to get pasted tomorrow night as well. Nico Hines is still out. That's a big, big loss. And now Wade Graham. Oh, God. Wade Graham got suspended for 4 weeks. 4 weeks for that big hit. I can't believe that was even a penalty, let alone the poor guy gets 4 weeks. Now, I'm happy to be proven wrong. I'm happy to admit if I'm wrong, because I haven't looked at any replays. I just saw it on the night, and my thoughts was it hasn't even made contact with the head, let alone contact with force. 4 weeks was really, really harsh. Anyway, Shalini Nath, ahoy. Welcome along from the Fiji Islands. All right, so very, very quickly, as the Panthers are running out onto the field to start this game, a little bit of housekeeping. We do have a free tipping contest going on NRL.com. There is the join code underneath my face. Totally free to join that one. And also, if you are somewhere where you don't have access to the game, I am sharing the gameplay footage over on Discord. Discord is completely free to join as well. So if you don't have access to the game, feel free to join our Discord server over there. You can patch into the gameplay. Panthers out on the field, looking to turn things around. Let's head over to the game screen. Wasted World of Sports, Panthers, Rabbitohs. Let's go. Let's get this game underway. Dustin Fisher, ahoy. And we are underway. Panthers with the kickoff. The big Panther in the background looks fabulous. Souths will get first use of the ball, and it's Burgess given the duties of the first hit up. And the Panthers start with very solid defense. Murray's getting in the way of his own team there. Cheeky little bugger. Cam Murray. A very settling batch of runs here. South tackle 3 up to the 20-metre line. Just one out again. Cheekham. Damien Cook looks around. What am I going to do? He's passing it to Cam Murray. And Murray is driven back in a tackle by Isaiah Yeo and a couple of his mates. 5th and last here, South's 30 out from their own line. Big set of 6 defensively for the Panthers. Here's Taruva. Taruva's in for a big game. I almost put him into my same game multi as a try scorer as well. Taruva on the wing for the Panthers. Tackle 2, they're up towards halfway. Great set of 6 defensively. Can they turn it into a good set of 6 on attack? There's my man Dylan Edwards taking a hit up. Isaiah Yeo gets in the way. They're all tangled up. Halfway, tackle 3, Panthers. Mitch Kenny out of dummy half. Sees that they weren't quite square. Weren't quite back on side. Front foot ball here for Penrith. They are running onto the ball with aggression, with purpose. 5th and last, 20 metres out. They will get the first say in this game. Cleary puts it high. Puts it right in front of the post. Who's that come off? It bounces high in the air to Isaiah Yeo. And Isaiah Yeo plants the ball down. It's a try for Penrith to start this game. Potentially. Who has that come off? Referee sends it up as no try. He had no choice, really, but to do that. Whose shoulder has this come off? This is a glorious start for Penrith either way. Up they go, the players. Liam Martin, it hits Liam Martin's shoulder, and that. If it's off the shoulder, it's a try. If it's off the upper arm, it's off his shoulder blade. Now, what do you do here? Upper arm is obviously classified a knock on. It's off his upper arm. So that would be no try. Harsh call, though. The rule book is very clear, though. The rule book is very clear. Upper arm, hand, upper arm, anywhere on the arm, basically. Upper arm, lower arm, doesn't matter. If it hits the arm in any capacity, it's a knock-on. South Sydney survive, and boy, have they been dealt a big wake-up call, though. Massive wake-up call. And that first set of 6 is probably the best that the Panthers have looked so far in 2023. And I do include in that trial games, which aren't really a good justification of how the team's going to go. Oh, yes. How did your assignments go, Dustin? Did you get them all done, mate? Souths go wide to the left. On tackle 4. 40 out from their own line. Panthers doing their best to just keep them down here as well. Good run from Cam Murray. They're still stuck in their own half, though. South Sydney have not set foot into Penrith territory as yet. They are, of course, only 2 sets into the game. Taruva takes the high ball, and Penrith will start in good... he's picked up and driven backwards. Solid defensive effort there by Campbell Graham. But Campbell Graham does not get back in the defensive line. Jerome Luai sees that and darts out a dummy half and steals 20 metres. Great run. And that puts Penrith back on the front foot. Tackle 3 at halfway. Inside ball to Fisher-Harris from Yeo, and they are into South's territory. Again, they will get an attacking kick away. Backline move. Here's Stephen Crichton. Straightens. 5th and last. 30 out. Penrith will get another attacking kick. High ball is perfectly positioned again from Cleary. Tapped back. Play on. Keeping it alive. Fisher-Harris offloads to Kenny. There's space out to the right. Stephen Crichton for the corner. Dives, plants it. Does he stay in the field of play? Penrith are looking good. Penrith are looking like the Penrith of old. I told you, Souths were made to look a lot better than they actually were last week. Let's see if it's actually awarded a try first. Viable Solutions, ahoy, mate. Another pinpoint perfect kick from Cleary. It's tapped back. Souths again not attacking the high ball. Kenny sees the space, fires a cutout ball to Crichton, puts the head down. Right in the corner, 4-0, kick to come. Zo plays, ahoy. Leonardo Rosano, ahoy. Let's not say Panthers are back, but they have started so well. They have started so well. Let's quickly jump over to the Waste of World of Sports tipping competition. I want to see who's gone who. Because I think the way the competition started, there might have been a few people very, very tempted to go all in on the Rabbitohs. Leonardo Rosano, do you remember Gucci legend YT from... Of course I do. Absolutely I do. How could you forget a name like Gucci? From the sideline, Cleary strikes it well, just hooks it across to the left of the post, and it remains 4-0. Okay, so we have a majority of people are going the Panthers. It's a bit of a mixed bag, though. It's a little bit of a 50-50 split. Well, that's good. It started well for me. What about people up the top? How did the people up the top pick? Yeah, okay. Rob's gone for the Panthers. There we go. That's what everybody wanted to know. He got a perfect round last week. Somehow got a perfect round. So who's he going for tonight? He's going for the Panthers, I'll have you know. Panthers off the back of points now. One-out stuff, but their one-out runs are just making way more meters than South at the moment. Liam Martin puts the head down, goes straight over the top of two defenders. And they're almost back to the halfway line. Just eating up meters at will here. The Panthers, up over halfway, fifth and last. 55 meters off that set of 6. Cleary puts a high looping ball. Latrell wants no part of it. It bounces nicely for Souths. Latrell showing absolutely no enthusiasm at all to try and get over to that high ball. Like none at all. He was literally jogging. Almost on the spot, seemingly. And the Panthers give away a penalty for offside. They were just a little bit too enthusiastic there. And Souths get let off the hook. But nobody wanted anything to do with that high ball from Cleary. Least of all, Latrell. He was a long way away, to be fair. But that bouncing football could go anywhere. If you want to play fullback, you need to show the enthusiasm and put the extra effort in to get across there to cover up in case something untoward happens. And Latrell was just showing no enthusiasm at all there. James Intox, ahoy, mate. Relieving penalty there for Souths will get them up into Panthers territory for the first time tonight. And there it is, Burgess. Burgess with a good run. Keeps his feet in the tackle for as long as he possibly could. And he is into Panthers territory. Souths are into Panthers territory. The first time tonight. Tackle 3, 30 out from the Panthers line. And here goes Cody Walker. Darts through one. Gets through Cleary. Cody Walker seems to always get through the tackle of Nathan Cleary. And they stay on the left-hand edge. Out to Alex Johnston. On the 5th and last. They are just 5 meters out, though. South's 5th and last. They are up quickly on Latrell. Latrell Mitchell's caught on the 5th and last. And that's a very meek end to that set of 6 that was starting to look promising for Souths. Dustin Fisher's gone. The Panthers with -7.5, which is probably a pretty good bet. I did predict at the start of the game, Panthers 20, Souths 18. Taruva's getting involved a lot tonight. That's what he needs to do. Get himself involved in the game. Good to see. Another run out of dummy half from Kenny. Gets it away to Luke Garner, and he needs a big game, as I was talking about at the top of the stream. Luke Garner needs to get that stench of the old West Tigers off his back and start to become a Panther. As Cleary kicks on the fourth from the halfway line, Latrell watches a dribble over the dead ball line. And Souths will get a 7-tackle set here. Souths, Latrell looks not busted, gassed. That's the word. Latrell Mitchell looks absolutely gassed 10 minutes into the game. He looks like he's done. I mean, the way that he just really lazily meandered across field when that high ball went up, that's not a good sign for Latrell Mitchell. Perhaps they rushed him back into the game. There's a nice run from Lachlan Ilias. Has really turned things around this season, hasn't he? He looks like he belongs now, Ilias. And he's taking the ball to the line. He's threatening the defense. He's doing everything that a good number 7 needs to do. Fifth and last, Souths. It's all been very, very slow again. The high ball from Ilias puts pressure on Edwards. Oh, pressure, says Dylan Edwards. Pressure? What pressure? And he takes the ball and is driven backwards. But they are starting this set right on their own goal line, the Panthers. Taruva involved again with another hit up. Nothing expansive coming here. No need to. Brian To'o gets through one, gets through two. He's still going. He's dragging defenders with him, Brian To'o. What a run. He makes 20 metres on his own, and the Panthers are back in South's territory. What a run from Brian To'o. Fifth and last here, Panthers 40 out from South's line. Look for a Cleary special here, and there it is, that high looping ball. Thompson gets in on it, takes it well this time. They were not letting it bounce this time. No way. That's my thoughts exactly, James. That's why I've gone for the Panthers tonight. I can't see any way that they lose 3 in a row, let alone 3 in a row at home. I just can't see any scenario where that happens. But it is Souths with the ball here, just doing one-out hit-ups. They're not really in a position to get themselves into this contest and play their expansive set moves out the back line. Fifth and last, Souths just over halfway. They stay on the short side, and Cody Walker keeps it low, looking for an awkward bounce, but it bounces straight into Edwards, and he brings it back 20 out from the Panthers line. Panthers are just at a level that Souths can't go with at the moment. So it will be interesting to see, the longer this game goes, are Penrith who win a penalty for offside a little bit too quick to get up there, or probably, more likely, a little bit too slow to get back. But Panthers are just on a different playing speed at the moment to Souths. Souths look lethargic. They got lulled into a little bit of false sense of security. Souths last week, that's how dismal the Sharks were. The Sharks were just awful, terrible. The Sharks of last week did not belong in the NRL. And here's a gift for Souths as Liam Martin knocks the ball on in the tackle. Yes, he does. He does just bobble the ball. It's off the back of Burgess and back into Martin's hands. That is a knock on, and that is Souths being let off the hook. So, Panthers have started with such high energy. Are they going to be able to go the full distance? Are Souths purposely keeping some reserve in the tank for the back end of the game? Is their game plan just to hold on, let Penrith throw everything at us, and just do what we need to do to hold on to a respectable scoreline, and we will run over the top of them in the back end? Could that be the game plan? Because they are just on different playing speeds at the moment, different intensities. Burgess has just run straight over the top of Mitch Kenny, and Mitch Kenny is not well. Mitch Kenny is off. He's got to go off for a HIA. Burgess has just steamrolled the poor little bugger. Oh, and he smacks his head into the turf. Mitch Kenny will be off for a HIA. I'd be very surprised if he passed his HIA. So Sonny Luke is going to get some big minutes here. Sonny Luke with some huge minutes incoming here for the Panthers. That's great for him. Sonny Luke warming up on the sideline. Cameron Murray with the offload to nobody. It's just not happening for the Rabbitohs tonight. Mitch Kenny's off for his HIA. That took seemingly forever. And there's the change made for the Panthers. Mitchell Kenny sent for a HIA. Had to happen. The best result for the Panthers will be, obviously, if Mitch Kenny passes his HIA. If that eventuates, that could actually be a very good thing that's happened for them. Fifth and last, Ilias puts it high. Pressure on Taruva. No, he takes it well. He's had a good, solid game to start. Taruva, he's looking good. Panthers driven back. Targo, it is. Driven back in a three-man tackle. And this is the worst position they've been in a long time. Panthers, tackle 3, only 25 out. Dylan Edwards says, I'll change that. Gets away from one, scampers away from Damien Cook. And he's brought down on the 4th. 40 out. Isaiah Yeo puts the head down. Big run, post-contact meters to go with it. Fifth and last, back in South's territory again. Pressure on the kick from Cleary. It's straight down Latrell Mitchell's throat. And he runs across field. Straightens. And he's swarmed by 4 Panthers defenders. Nowhere to go. The referee blows time up to yell at somebody and say, don't grab his jersey, as if we're in high school. And a penalty to Souths, crowding the ruck there, the Panthers. Slowing the ball down. Jerome Luai's arguing with the referee. Just get back in line, mate. You're not going to win. You're not going to win that one. Yes, Dylan Edwards is in my multi. James Intox, he is indeed. Dylan Edwards, Brian To'o, Alex Johnston, Campbell Graham. So it's not looking very good at the moment, but then I really wasn't expecting it to. This was a same-game multi built on a lot of hope. Because I need a win. I need a win, goddammit. All right. South's keeping the ball alive on tackle 1. Doing something a little bit different. They're being contained with the one-out stuff. They're starting to play a little bit more expansive. They've shifted 2 off the ruck now. Tackle 3, midfield. Stacked left-hand edge, though. And that's where they go. 6 again for the Rabbitohs. Latrell takes on Crichton and Cleary. And To'o comes in to help. And they shut him down. Latrell and his blue undies. Burgess. He's not going to do anything but put his head down and run straight at the defensive line. And tackle 2, 10 out for Souths. Cook goes to the right. Murray out the back to Ilias. Short ball. And Kalaumatangi is tackled on number 3. They're just 5 out here. They've got a couple of chances. Cook cuts it out to Murray. Murray finds Burgess charging onto the ball. They turn him onto his back. Dylan Edwards with solid defense there. And they give away a penalty for an illegal strip. They're challenging this call, the Panthers. This could be a big call because if Burgess has knocked this ball on, the defense of the Panthers, they've held on to the ball. Cleary does not have hands on the ball at all there. And he's knocked it on Burgess. Does Cleary's right arm have contact with the ball, though? That's what we need to see. Oh, he's knocked it out with his left hand. Cheeky. Oh, cheeky sod. Cheeky little bugger. Oh, you've been busted. Oh, the challenge is successful. Burgess cannot believe it. I can't believe it. Look at that. He gave him a little sensual stroke on the chin too, Burgess. A little tickle. Well, I've seen it all now. I have seen it all, folks. That, to me, there was no intent. I don't think there was necessarily any intent. But, I mean, his left arm clearly knocked the ball out, didn't it? Penrith dodge a bullet there. Big time. And straight back into their work here, the Panthers. Tackle 4 up towards the halfway line. They should be in South's territory at the back end of this. Luke dummies and goes himself out of dummy half. Isaiah Yeo out the back to nobody. And Liam Martin is having an absolute stinker of a year so far. I know it's only 3 games in for him, but, well, actually, Liam Martin didn't even play in the World Club Challenge, did he? So this is only his 2nd game. And boy, the rust is in for Liam Martin. Butchered a dead-set certain try last week against the Broncos that probably would have swung the contest. Knocked a ball on. He knocked a ball on to start the game here. And now he's made... It was a horrible pass, to be fair. Terrible pass. But still, you've got to take those, don't you? You have to take those sorts of balls. And he was under no pressure. He didn't need to rush it or anything. But anyway, Souths get let off the hook. They go down the left-hand side. Really reliant on their left-hand edge again tonight, the Rabbitohs. I told you last week they only went down the right-hand side because the Sharks were so terrible there. They exposed them, so they kept going back to it. They go to the left again. A little grubber kick in by Cody Walker's collected by Stephen Crichton. And Penrith get away. Oh, Cody Walker's not happy with Fisher Harris. He's giving him a shove. Maybe not the best guy to go after there, Cody. Cedric Kepo. We are 20 minutes into this contest now. Halfway through the first half. And it's 4-0 in favour of Penrith, who spread the ball wide to the left. And Garner is wrapped up. Graham rushes up on him and shuts him down before he can even think about doing anything. And that's the best set of 6 in defence from South for a while. 5th and last Panthers inside their own 40. Cleary kicks down to Thompson. Latrell has definitely... Oh, it's Alex Johnston, actually. There you go. Thompson's over this side. Up to halfway. Yeah, South's on tackle 3. Midfield. Luai just hangs around in the play the ball area. Cheeky stuff there, the Panthers. Great defense from Crichton. Takes out the legs. Nowhere to go. Johnston in dummy half. Probably not his best role. And he's knocked the ball on in the tackle. Cheekham knocks it on. And they look out on their feet here, the Rabbitohs. They are just holding on. The ball bumps out off the turf, it back into his own face. And loses it. Vopsy says the ref might actually get man of the match. What a run off the base of the scrum here. Isaac Tungo. 6 again for what it's worth on tackle 1. Keeping the ball alive. Fisher-Harris to Edwards. Edwards sends the inside ball to Leota. And Leota straightens and settles things down again. 30 out from the Rabbitohs line. Garner juggles it, but skips away from Campbell Graham. Shimmies around him. Fisher-Harris is the decoy, and it goes to Yo. And we're tackle 4. 15 out from the line. Left-hand side, Cleary. Dummies inside. Cut out ball to Taruva. Taruva runs back in field and is tackled 5 metres out. Cleary again takes it to the line. Out the back to Yo. Yo dummies and goes on his own. 5th and last. 2 metres out. They stay on the left-hand side. Cleary with the grubber kick. It's covered up. South Sydney centimetres out from their own line. And again, they just hold on. But the Panthers are looking slick tonight. Those passes that were going to ground last week, they're finding their man tonight. They have lifted. They have got their act together. Their intensity's up. Their speed is up. Everything is going well for Panthers tonight so far. Mark O'Brien, ahoy there, mate. Welcome along. An early kick here from Souths. Inside the 20, looking for a 20-40. Is that still a thing this season? I forgot to look it up. This is stuff I need to know. Were they looking for a 20-40? Dylan Edwards fell for that one a couple of years ago in the qualifying final against the Storm at Suncorp. He's not falling for it again. Fopsy says they probably removed the rule because Ben Hunt does it too much. Ben Hunt's a Queenslander, isn't he? I don't think there's any rules getting changed because of a Queenslander. Although the Billy Slater slide tackle got outlawed. So that's probably not a statement I wasn't making it seriously, but it's probably not one I can make honestly either. Crichton gets the ball on the 5th and last. Tries to get over the line on his own. It was the 5th and last. That's a handover. He didn't realize it was the 5th and last. There you go. He got up and tried to play the ball, but then realized, oh, crap, we've got to hand it over. But Souths, again, starting a set inside their own 10-metre line. I really do think that Souths, I don't know, I'm looking for something to justify just how flat they've been. And I can only think that they knew that Penrith were going to come out with a hiss and a roar. Maybe they are just conserving themselves for the back end of the game. Let Penrith fire all the punches. It's like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer was boxing and he would just stand there and let the other guy punch and punch and punch and punch and punch. And he would just stand there and take it and let the other guy wear himself out. What a run back from Taruva, though. He takes the high ball and he nearly gets through 2 defenders. They just hold on and bring him in. And then they give away a penalty for holding on a little bit too long. Jed Cartwright. 25 minutes gone in the first half, 4 points to nil. But don't let that scoreline fool you. Penrith have been right on top here, right on top in this first half. And here they are again now, inside South territory, on the attack. Yo goes out the back to Cleary. Cleary dummies. Cut out pass to Luai. Luai threatens to step inside. He stays outside, and it's tackle 3, 20 out from the line. And Cleary brings it back to the short side. Taruva. Tackle 4. Taruva appealing for a crusher. Cleary to the line again, looking threatening every time he gets the ball. But Koloamatangi lined up Isaiah Yo. Sonny Luke, it's the 5th and last, mate, you know. Cleary, grubbers into the end goal. Nobody's back there for Souths. Campbell Graham just gets there. Sliding across the turf and knocking it dead. Where was anybody at the back covering for Souths? Where was Latrell? Let's have a look. There he is. And Latrell, just absolutely no enthusiasm whatsoever again. If he's not 100%, he should not be playing. It's that simple. Mr. Ed's dead. Ahoy. Peace. Short dropout here from Souths. It's high. And it's tapped back. And they win the ball. They knock it on. It's been deemed a knocked on. I thought it went backwards. And this is another call, potentially, that's gone against the Rabbitohs. Let's have a look and see. That's not the worst call I've ever seen, but I would have said that went backwards. Referee was in great position for it, though. Better position than me. Watching here on TV, watching on a computer monitor. So we've got to take his word for that one. And yes, actually, from that angle, I would have said knock on. From the first angle, it looked like it went back. From that angle, it looked like it went forward. So we are just going to go ahead and go with the referee's call. Now, what do you do here? A penalty from the scrum for inside the 10. Take the 2. Take the 2. It's a gift 2 points. They are putting the scrum down again. They said, we'll have the scrum again, thanks. Now, if South Sydney give away that exact same penalty, there's a man immediately in the sin bin. So Panthers are trying to take advantage of that rule. Souths have to stay attached this time, and they do. And they run the same play. They just replace Cleary with Luai. And it's Edwards on tackle 1, 10 out. I would have taken the 2 personally, because at Wasted World of Sports, we always take the 2. Yo is doing a lot of running. He's doing a lot of running himself. He's usually the link man, but he's taking a lot of hit-ups himself tonight. Cleary inside to Spencer Leniu. Goes across the field, then straightens. He gets over the line, is driven back on tackle 4. They're just a metre out, Penrith. They stay to the left-hand side. Yo links up with Garner. Luke Garner scores. Penrith are over again. Isaiah Yo has been running himself all night long, pretty much. And it was all just to set up that play, I expect. All setting up that play. He's been holding onto it himself for the past 5 or 10 minutes at least. I don't remember him really passing the ball. And now he's given the short ball, the feed to Luke Garner. Luke Garner's lost it. Luke Garner may have lost this ball. This is not going to be given straight away. The bunker will get involved and have a look at this. I think it's always remained in his hands. It's always remained in his grasp. His hand is always there in contact with the ball. Great effort from Latrell. Now that's the sort of effort that he needs to be putting in. Yeah, I don't think his hand comes away from that ball at all, so they might want to take a closer look, though. Here we go. Cameras on the referee. They're talking. The try's not confirmed yet. Here we go. Wait. Bunkers involved. It's KFC time. Get your chicken ready. The ball is there. It's there if it's anywhere. It's right there where it happens. There we go. David Stevens, ahoy. And this try is going to get scrubbed. The bunker and I have actually agreed. Well, my first reaction anyway. A knock on is official. It remains 4 points to 0. Souths hang on again. And Penrith, for all their domination, 10 points to 0 would have been just reward. But the fact that it's still 4-0, 30 minutes gone, Souths would be content with this. I wouldn't say happy. They wouldn't be happy. But they would have to be content with where they are at the moment. Fifth and last here, Souths. They're inside Panthers territory on the back of that set. 40 out. All lined up to the right. Oh, it's the fifth and last, you know. They didn't realise. Souths did not realise it was the fifth. Well, it wasn't. It was the TV that got it wrong. It was the broadcast that got it wrong. They had the fifth tackle up on the graphic. I thought it was a bit of a weird thing that absolutely nobody from Souths seemed to realise it was the fifth. The Fox Sports broadcasting team just a little bit too happy, too trigger happy on the fifth tackle button there. Panthers just starting to bring it down a notch here. They've played out of their skins for the first 30 minutes and only have 4 points to show for it. Early kick from Cleary. From 30 out. Where's the bounce? It's a 40-20. Has Cleary kicked a 40-20? It's going to be just short of the 20-metre line. From inside his own 30 there, Cleary. Where's this bounce gone? That's over the 20. And this one's gone against the Panthers as well. That was a 40-20 from inside his own 30-metre line. Souths get the result there. And they dodge a massive, massive bullet. So we are once again seeing some very interesting calls. Campbell Graham and Jerome Luai called out by the referee for a little bit of a scolding. Are we in high school? What's going on? You don't do that. You don't do this. Now let's go back and play some footy. South Sydney just hanging on by the skin of their teeth. But front football, they're starting to maybe it's what I was saying. They're just starting to lift here. Cody Walker tries the Hollywood. But guess what, Cody? You are no actor. No actor, sir. And that is deemed a mistake. Cody Walker trying the Hollywood. Well, actually, Cody Walker just lost his temper. He's lashed out and he's made a mistake. He's made himself look like an absolute goof because he can't control his temper. He's had a swing and made a complete mincemeat out of it. Gives the ball back to the Panthers. So I take it all back about his acting skills anyway. That wasn't an act. He just went and goofed up. Sonny Luke stays on the short side. I think Mitch Kenny's back on the field, isn't he? I thought I just saw Mitch Kenny. Yes, he is. Okay, so Sonny Luke and Mitch Kenny are both on the field. That's interesting. So Mitch Kenny has passed his HIA and he's back on the field. Sonny Luke has stayed out there. Leniu ends up going in behind. Jerome has to surrender on tackle 4, but they're on the attack here, the Panthers. Another try is what they really need for all their efforts in the first half. If it goes to the sheds at 4-0, here's a penalty, and surely you take the 2 now. Inside the last 6 minutes, take the 2. Get yourself out. Oh, they're challenging. Souths are challenging. So they're challenging a rake out. And hands all over the ball there. So they're not going to win this one, Souths. Damien Cook's just got his arm in an awkward spot there. Rip. And he had to rip to get his hand free. He pretty much had to rip his arm out. Okay, the bar has been set for season 2023. You can legally rip the ball out of the opposition hands as long as your hand is facing the opposite direction of the ball. You can still put pressure on the footy and rip it out with your hand facing that way. That has set the bar now. You watch. Melbourne Storm will be the first. Craig Bellamy is a smart cat. Watch for that to become a Melbourne Storm tactic or a Cowboys tactic, because we haven't seen the Cowboys do any Hollywood dives so far this year. So maybe Todd Payton's blue eyes have just lit up when he saw that ruling and has gone, aha, here's our tactic for the season. We're going to win penalties and win possession off of just make sure that when you rake the ball out, your hand is facing away from the ball. You knock it out with your arm and not your hand, we'll get the ball back. That's thinking. Latrell Mitchell with a bulldozing run. He's dragging 4 or 5 defenders with him. Souths could actually go into halftime with a lead here. Walker, short ball. They had an overlap to the left. Didn't use it. Cheekham is picked up and driven backwards. On the 5th and last. They stay on the left-hand side. They're loving that left-hand edge again tonight. The grubber kick through. Dylan Edwards keeps it alive out the back to Crichton. Passes it to To'o. And To'o is held. Run in front of his own post. 15 out. 4 points to 0 is not big enough for the Panthers' domination. It's not a big enough scoreline for the way that the Panthers have dominated so far. And that penalty will be sweet relief to send them down well into South territory. And they might get another crack at it here. Penrith, another crack at doing something. Starting the set. Tackle 1, 40 out from South's line. This is a chance. Yo. To Leniu. Hits the ball up on tackle 2. They're just 25 out. Mitch Kenny's back into dummy half. So Sonny Luke has perhaps gone off now. Kenny from dummy half runs across the face of the defense. Finds Luai. Luai sends Garner back inside. And it's tackle 4. A metre out. Kenny goes from dummy half. Wrong option there. 5th and last. And it means Garner has to play dummy half. He goes for it. He goes for it himself. And has he scored this time, or has he dropped it again? He's lost it. He's lost it again, Luke Garner. He can't hold on to the ball once he gets over the try line. Well, was it? I think he's deemed it a lost ball from the play the ball. Here, in the play the ball, he's deemed that not a proper play the ball. And I can't say I necessarily agree with that. Interesting. Some interesting calls that we have seen here in the first half. I thought he got his foot on top of the ball, rolled it backwards. He wasn't facing perfectly straight, I suppose. If you really want it to, I think it was a harsh call, wasn't it? A minute and a half to go till half time. Now, like I said, I don't think Souths will necessarily be happy, but they'll certainly be content. Cut out ball here, but a little bit behind Alex Johnston. So Penrith's lack of tass out of dummy half finds 20 metres. It's the fifth and last now. 40 out from Panthers line. Horrible pass from dummy half there, Johnston. The ball goes high. Edwards moves forward, takes it well. And Latrell's all tangled up in Dylan Edwards here. Piggyback rides him. Okay, now you need to go back in defence, Latrell. When it first started, I was on your side. Don't lose that. Inside the last minute until the break. And I don't think that too many more shots will be fired here in the first half. Just the one try. And now they play out to the left. Garner, the play shuts down with Garner again. Oh, he loses it. It's play on. And Luai goes straight through. Kicks it. It bounces for Isaac Tongo. And Tongo will score inside the last 10 seconds. But we've got some stuff to look at here. We have got a little bit to look at. But it's gone up as a try. Out of absolutely nothing. 10 seconds to go till halftime. The ball spills out the back. Luke Garner cannot hold on to it if he had super glue on his hands. Tonight, it seems. It spills out. Luai swoops on it. Finds the gap. Puts the boot to the ball. And it bounces so perfectly for Tango. But we need to have a look at how that ball spills out. And where that ball spills out. Maya El Halani. The Panthers' first try was scored by Stephen Crichton. Very early in the game as well, Stephen Crichton scored. I can't wait. I think we're going to hear a whistle and a bunker interjection here. Well, here's the thing. Is it the same as rugby union? Rugby union, the bunker can't rule on forward passes. Or is this going to be a knock-on as opposed to a forward pass? So therefore he can interject. Was Garner attempting to offload or did he just lose the ball? And that could be the difference between whether or not the bunker even can intervene in this scenario. Well, Crichton's got the ball on the kicking tee. It seems like it's been confirmed. It looks like the try's been confirmed, and I've just missed when it was called. Oh, Cleary's hobbling off the field. He wants to get into the sheds and get looked at. Robert M says, so Dan, which games are you covering this week? We'll have a look at that at halftime. Maya El Halani, why can't you show what is happening? Because I don't have $1 billion to pay the NRL for broadcasting rights. But hey, if you guys would all like to get together and donate me $1 billion that I can pay the NRL, I'll happily show the game on the screen. I don't think we're willing to do that, are we? All right, half-time. Wasted World of Sports, 10 points to 0. It is in favour of the Panthers. And I'll have a quick break, and I'll be back to answer all your questions. But one of the talking points at half-time, Nathan Cleary hobbling off the field. Well, I wouldn't really call it hobbling or limping, but he was kind of gingerly wandering off the field there at the half-time break. Wow. What a turnaround. It looked like Souths might have had a chance to go into halftime on top after everything that was going against them. And then the Panthers, just like that, what a turnaround. All right, I'll have a quick break, and then let's chat. Let's chat all about the weekend coming up. Wasted World of Sports halftime, 10 points to 0 in favour of the Penrith Panthers. And 10 points to 0 is, in my opinion, slightly more reflective of how well they played. They're definitely a lot better this week, the Panthers. All right, I'll start with Facebook. Pepini says Souths need to push up their ball handling tactics in the second half. I'll tell you what I've noticed, Pepini. Last week when Souths were playing the Sharks, they switched up left-hand edge attack and right-hand edge attack. So much so that even the pundits on Fox Sports and whatnot were really, really pointing it out that, hey, Souths are attacking down the right-hand edge a lot more. They're usually so reliant on the left-hand edge. Now, I put that down to the fact that Talakai and Moylan, in particular, had absolute dead-set shockers defensively. Now, the entire Sharks team last week were absolute balls, but specifically in defense, Talakai and Moylan both got exposed on that right-hand edge, so why wouldn't you go down there? Why wouldn't you keep attacking down the right-hand edge? And I think the Sharks really made the Rabbitohs look a lot better than they actually are. So I think that maybe, just maybe, Souths came into this game under a little bit of a false sense of security about their abilities. And they were rattled very early on, and I couldn't help but notice they've really gone back to that left-hand edge, left-hand edge, left-hand edge. It feels like every attacking set of six that they have, straight default to the left-hand edge, just like it was last year. And that's very predictable, and the Panthers are able to shut them down. Like, Souths haven't even fired a shot, really, on attack. They haven't looked like scoring. But yes, anyways, Papini, absolutely right. Souths definitely need to. A lot of passes have not been going to hand. A lot of passes finding the grass. So they'll get an absolute bollocking at halftime, I'm sure. And we might see a different Souths team in the second half. And Cody Walker needs to get his attitude in check, his anger. He needs anger management, that man. Seriously. Cody Walker, fantastic player when he concentrates on playing. But anyways, it was funny to see him make a complete tit out of himself there in the first half, Cody Walker, when he had a swipe at Mitch Kenny, completely missed him and fell over and knocked the ball on and gave the ball away. So, yeah, Cody needs to really look at himself in that scenario as well. Oh, my dad's here, everybody. Wayne says, Penrith play the ball, average 3 seconds, South 3.7 seconds. So my dad's picked up an interesting statistic. Okay, easy for me to say. My dad has picked up an interesting statistic after round one. The team, in most cases, the team with the fastest play the ball speed is the team that is coming out on top and winning the game. I also wouldn't say countered that that suggestion, but I put out there that perhaps the completion rate dictates that a little bit more as well than the play the ball speed. Completion rate perhaps dictates an outcome more than play the ball speed. So interesting. Completion rate for both teams is at 77%. At halftime in this one. So, yes, maybe that's a slight... Dad's a little bit ahead, I think. That's a slight advantage to my dad's theory. 77% each completion rate. Danji Adai. What a fantastic name. My name's Dan. Your name's Danji. Danji. That's awesome. Okay. Concentrate, Dan. Concentrate. Any tips for the rest of the game? All the way from PNG. Oh, well, first of all, cheers to Papua New Guinea. As I always say, a very passionate and enthusiastic rugby league nation, Papua New Guinea. Any tips for the rest of the game? Well, I actually wondered, were Souths purposely keeping some energy in check? They played fairly conservative in that first half. Are Souths just particularly playing bad, or are they holding a little something in the tank, knowing that the Panthers were going to come out like a bat out of hell with a lot of enthusiasm after all the talk all week? Are the Panthers losing their mojo? Blah, 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 blah. You always knew the Panthers were going to come out with an absolute hiss and a roar to start this game. Was it a plan from Souths to just let them fire their shots? Let's let them throw everything at us. If we can go into the sheds in touching distance, maybe we finish over the top of them in the second half because we've retained all that energy and they've potentially played themselves out. Now, it's a risky method because who's to say that the Panthers can't play the same intensity for 80 minutes? Who's to say that? We don't know. We don't know what their off-season training regime has looked like. Maybe they do all have the fitness to go all the way and play this intensity for the full game. Only time will tell. But I am just wondering, are Souths playing a little bit of possum here and keeping a little bit in the tank for the rest of the contest? So if I were to have any sort of tip for how the rest of the game may play out, if that turns out to be correct, maybe, just maybe, Souths play with a little bit more intensity in the second half and finish over the top of the Panthers, who played out of their skins in the first half and only have a 10-point lead to show for it. And let's not overlook the fact that Nathan Cleary hobbled off. You just saw shots of him in the sheds there at halftime, getting a little massage on the bottom of his foot. So maybe he's broken a bone in his foot or something like that. And I don't know what's happened to him. Obviously, I'm not there. I'm not a trainer in the Panthers team, so I don't know what's happened to him. It depends on the injury, Robert. So Robert's asked, with Cleary hobbling off, do you risk him in the second half? It really depends what's wrong. If they look at it, and maybe that's what they were doing, giving him a massage, feeling around for any loose bone fragments. Who knows? You probably don't risk him this early in the season if it's something potentially serious. If it is just a little bit of a niggle and he's happy enough to go back out there, who knows? I don't know enough about what the injury is to raise any concerns or comments. Either way, really. Vobsy says, this reminds me of the Cowboys-Raiders game last week. First half was all Cowboys, and then second half was mostly Raiders. Absolutely, it could very much turn out to be that. Maybe this game finishes 11 points to 10. This game does potentially swing completely on its head. Panthers score just the 1 point in the second half, and that 1 point is all they need to sneak the victory, just like the Cowboys-Raiders last week. Okay, and Robert M., sorry, you asked that question a long time ago. How's my multi going? My multi's going terrible. 0 legs so far. 0 legs so far. Anyway, Frank Timothy Lerman. Ahoy, mate. Welcome along to the stream. Wasted World of Sports. We don't know yet if Nathan Cleary's coming back for the second half or not. We were just discussing whether or not you even risk him. And ultimately it comes down to what injury. It seems to be an injury in his foot. They showed footage of him at halftime in the sheds, getting a nice little rub under his feet. Like nice little massage on the bottom of the foot. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. Does Nathan Cleary come back for the second half? Okay, Robert, I'm with you. Let's go. What games are we going to do this weekend? Okay, so I'm going to be working until 5 p.m. tomorrow, so I would be very, very surprised. I'd be very surprised if I'm doing the Eels-Sharks game, at least in its entirety. I'm thinking what will happen is I will start... Michelle and I will be covering the Broncos-Cowboys game, definitely. But what I'm thinking I will do, I'll finish work, I'll have a little bit of a wind down, and I'll get ready, and maybe I'll actually start the stream for the second half of the Eels-Sharks game. And then we can sort of do... The Broncos-Cowboys pre-show can essentially be covering the back end of that Eels-Sharks game. So I don't think I'll be able to do the full game. I just don't think there's any way I can finish work at 5 o'clock on the dot and go boom, start stream. So maybe Eels-Sharks will be the lead into the main game tomorrow, Broncos-Cowboys. On Saturday, Roosters-Warriors, really not interested. So Saturday, we'll probably start with the Dolphins and Raiders at 4:30. That's 4:30 Queensland time. Dolphins, Raiders. Ed Vogel, ahoy there, mate. Storm, Bulldogs. I'm not really interested in any of the games Saturday night, but, I've got sod all else to do, so maybe I'll do the games on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday I'm not really interested, so we'll see. We'll see about Saturday. And Sunday is, even Sunday is a little bit of the Who Cares Cup. Tigers versus Knights I might do, because that, I predict, will be the battle for the wooden spoon. Whoever loses that game, wooden spooners for sure. And then you've got the Dragons, Titans, who cares? Yeah, so it's a bit of a rough week. Week one was going to be very difficult to come up against, wasn't it? Oh, I'll be going for the Dolphins, don't you worry. Dolphins versus Raiders, I'm all in on the Dolphins. Don't you worry about that. It's all Dolphins. next week. Next week. All Dolphins on the weekend. Okay, so Nathan Cleary is out for the second half. Nathan Cleary is out there for the second half as it gets underway, but he definitely does not look 100%. He is still not running freely on that foot. How's his kicks? Hasn't affected his kicking. That's another perfectly placed high ball. Pressure on Johnston. Johnston takes it well, though. The Panthers get through the first set of 6 on attack. Souths handle the high ball very nicely indeed. Cleary is very, very, very ginger on that foot. So that's something definitely to keep an eye on. Sonny Luke is on. Mitch Kenny's off to start the second half as well. But that was certainly a planned replacement, that one. Sonny Luke getting a lot more game time tonight. Fifita takes it up. A good run for Souths. They are inside. Okay, Nathan Cleary's starting to get into his work here. 5th and last, 40 out. Short side, Ilias puts the ball high. Kick chases, great. And it's a knock on from Souths. Once, twice, 3 times. So Nathan Cleary's he's wandering around. He's just constantly jogging. Even in back play, he's just continuing to move around, trying to get that foot, the kink in the foot worked out, and get himself back. So maybe just a little bit of a niggle. I don't think Ivan would have risked it if there was any sort of threat of a serious injury stemming from it. They wouldn't have played him. So just a little bit of a cork or something of that nature. What a big run there by Spencer Lanu. Straight into the defensive line like a rocket. Edwards now with a good run. 48 metres gained. The high ball from 40 out on the 5th and last. Cleary, it's another good kick. Pressure on Johnston. But Johnston will not be broken. He is handling those high balls with ease. Handling balls. Latrell in the role of just shuffling the ball along from playmaker. Ed Vogel can't wait for the Sharks vs Dolphins game. Talking about Animal Kingdom. Dolphins are actually a loose play the ball from Souths. Loose play the ball from Souths, and that's an error on the halfway line. And Penrith will get first attacking opportunity in the second half. Jed Cartwright. Yep, no one to blame but yourself there, Jed. Well, a very good thing, Ed Vogel. I had actually predicted. This is how much faith that I have in my team. I had actually predicted that the Sharks would be the first team to lose to the Dolphins this season. That's how much faith I have in my Sharkies. Well, it's a very good thing that it's impossible for that to happen now. They are avoided that embarrassment because the Roosters take that prize. And now a one-on-one strip by Damien Cook, but he's knocked the ball on in the process. Successful strip on Isaiah Yeo, but he can't hold on to the ball, and Panthers will get it straight back. Sonny Luke is an Api Koroisau clone. I love it when predictions are correct. When I make a prediction that actually plays out, I love that. And Sonny Luke is one prediction that has absolutely played out. He's an Api Koroisau clone, and every time he comes onto the field, the Sharks, I wish, every time he comes on the field, the Panthers look a lot better. Tackle 2, Panthers, they're 10 out from the line. Out the back to Cleary. Cleary looking solid on that foot now. And To'o has to surrender. He had nowhere to go. Souths sliding defense had that covered off without any real threat. Cleary to the left, cut out ball to Luai. Luai inside to Leniu. Leniu straightens and is tackled just a metre short. Sonny Luke from dummy half. Grumber into the end goal. That's a result for the Panthers. It's tapped dead by Souths. Souths still look absolutely dead on their feet. They're completely gassed. And they've got more defence incoming here. More defence to be done. Does Latrell go short with the dropout? Yes, he does. It's not going to go 10. It's not going to go 10. It's not 10. And this is a penalty in front of the sticks. And surely you take the 2 here. Surely you take the 2 and go 12-0 ahead. 2 converted tries. Yes, they're taking the 2. I'll drink to that. There is that risk with the short try. I don't understand why teams... Why? This is a question I ask. Why has the short dropout become such a tactic? With 33 minutes left in the game, a short dropout, it's such a 50-50 thing. Yes, you might get the ball back 10 out from your own line, or you're going to give away a gift 2 points to the opposition. And what's the reward for getting the ball back 10 out from your own line on attack with 33 minutes left in the game? Wouldn't you be much better off just kicking the absolute skin off the bastard as far downfield as you possibly can and back your defense? Let them attack you from 40 meters out from your own line, as opposed to the alternative, which is you starting your set 10 meters out from your own line, or the worst case scenario, gifting 2 points. I just don't understand it. I'm a gambling man, but I weigh that up and I look at those odds and go, I'm going to knock the skin off the bugger. I just don't get it. I don't understand that as a tactic. But anyway, a gift 2 points handed over to the Panthers. They took the risk. The risk did not pay off. And it's the Panthers out to a 12 points to 0 lead. And Liam Martin with a fantastic run. And he wins the penalty. And Stephen Crichton's ripped away off the ball by Cody Walker. Cody Walker still doesn't have that attitude in check. Walker, I must admit, in recent times, is making himself extremely unlikable. He's really got to get that temper in check. Completely off the ball. Cody Walker needs anger management, and he needs anger management fast. I don't know what's going on in his personal life that is spilling over onto the field, but I don't remember him being this much of a dick. I really don't. Luai takes it to the line. Dummies left, steps back right. And it's tackle 3, 10 out from the line. Luke runs across the face of the goal. Offloads to Martin. Tackle 4, 5 out. Yo, the link man, out the back to Cleary. They're up on Luai. Luai scampers away from Campbell Graham, but he did just enough to slow him down. 5th and last. Cleary dinks it in over the line. Pressure on Walker. Walker knocks the ball backwards. And now he's getting into it again, Cody Walker. Pull your head in, you goof. Honestly, get your attitude in check. He's got it in for Stephen Crichton. Whatever's happened, he's got it in for Stephen Crichton at the moment. It's insane. Honestly, if I'm the coach, I'm sending the trainer out with a message saying, tell Cody to pull his head in and concentrate on playing footy. Some players are good with a little bit, when they're a little bit overly aggressive, Cody Walker is not one of them. Cut out pass now to Johnston. Johnston's cut down by To'o. Nowhere to go for the Rabbitohs. Fifth and last on halfway. Ilias, they're up quickly on him. And that's a knock on by Damien Cook. Pressure. And Stephen Crichton's pumped up. He's looking around. Where's Cody? Where's Cody? He's pumped up as Stephen Crichton. And the Panthers are well on top here. Horrible pass from dummy half. Puts pressure on the kick. And it ends up Damien Cook losing the ball. And now a high shot on Dylan Edwards will lead to another penalty. And take the two. Take the two again. Take the two. Oh, they're not taking the two. Disappointing. That's an absolute gimme right in front of the post. 40 metres out, but still right in front of the post. 28 minutes to go. 12 points to nil. Penrith right on top. Right on top. I don't think Souths are even going to score any points. Eisenhuth with the hit up. Inside South's 20. Yo, out the back to Cleary. Cleary inside ball to Garner. Garner holds on to the ball, and he holds on to the ball because he wasn't over the try line. Leota, with 3 defenders on him, is just a metre short on tackle 4. Out to the right-hand side. Cleary out the back to Crichton. The overlap to To'o. To'o to the corner. It's a try for the Panthers. That's a tick in my multi. That's the first tick in my multi. Brian To'o in the corner. 16 points to nil. Kick to come. Alex Johnston caught in no man's land. Simple catch and pass. Overlap. To'o in the corner. Did I just hear Brandy Alexander call Sonny Luke Sonia? Or am I hearing things? Hey, not like I've never got a name wrong or anything. Brian To'o gets the check in my multi. I don't like my odds of getting 3 more. I still need Dylan Edwards. I still need Alex Johnston. I still need Campbell Graham. $16-0 kick to come. The kick from out wide. I predicted 20 points to 12 in favour of the Panthers at the start of the game. A couple of late tries from Souths. Another try, a missed conversion here from Cleary. Another try. And a couple of late ones from Souths. I might not be looking too bad. Cleary starts it well, but it hooks across the face of the goal. And it stays 16-0. Simple draw and pass. Very, very easy stuff there. And as I said, Souths, in all fairness, Souths were made to look way better than they were last week. The Sharks were just awful. I mean, truly awful. One of the worst teams in the competition last week, Sharks, in all facets of the game. So I can't help but wonder if Souths just got into a little bit of a false sense of security. And they've come out here against a team that wasn't that far off the pace. The Panthers lost a couple in a row, but they only lost a couple in a row by 1 point. Let's not forget that. They weren't far off. And yeah, I think they just got into a little bit of a false sense of security about their abilities. Talked themselves up in the media all week long. Talked themselves up. And they've now copped a little bit of a reality check. But still, a long way to go in this game. 25 minutes is plenty of time to score 3 converted tries. And it's the fifth and last now. Panthers inside their own territory. Luke out of dummy half. It's the fifth and last, mate. They run it on the last. They go through the hands to the left. A slightly forward pass to Taruva. They get away with it, though. And it bounces kindly for Mitchell at the back. And Mitchell manhandled by Garner. He's not going to like that. And they are lifting in intensity still, the Panthers. We questioned whether they could keep it up for the full 80. They're doing the job at the moment. Two tackles inside Penrith territory in the second half so far, South Sydney. And we go back to those statistics. The play the ball speed versus completion rate. South's completion rate has dropped to 66%. Panthers have gone up to 83%. And they are well and truly on top in this game. So that's a little bit of a swing back in my favor, in my theory. Play the ball speed versus completion rate. And they've got massive front foot ball hit meters at will here at the moment. The Panthers tackle 3 back in South's territory. They're making 10, 15 meters every run. Tackle 4, 30 out from the line. Yo, to the left, out the back to Cleary. Out the back to Luai. Luai must surrender or throw it back to the right. He throws it back to the right. Salmon's been shopping for his jerseys the same place as Teddy does because it doesn't quite fit. Fifth and last, Cleary, grubber kick into the end goal, and it's knocked on and bobbled at the back. He's knocked it on in goal, surely. And the referee has finally called it, and this will be a dropout from Souths. Cleary with the grubber kick through. Bobbled at the back there. Thompson. Oh, he's regathered the ball, Thompson. You're not allowed to challenge those calls. But there's one that's gone the Panthers' way. Edwards takes the dropout. Panthers starting this set 20 out. They didn't really go the short dropout that time, South, so that was sort of a mid-ranged dropout. Fisher-Harris keeps his feet. Plays the ball quick. Out the back they go. Cleary sees a gap, steps off his inside, and is taken 10 out from the line. Yo links up again. Fisher-Harris on tackle 4. Slow, play the ball. They're all over him. Should have been a set restart. Really should have been a set restart. Fifth and last, Panthers. A meter out from the line. Horrible play the ball. Horror play the ball from Isaiah Yo. That's one that he will definitely want to forget. You wouldn't be too fussed about it at 16-0, but yes, that's a terrible play the ball. .58 minutes gone, 16-0 in favour of the Panthers. A scrum 10 metres out for Souths. There's still time, but boy, have they got a long way to go upfield to get the roll on. Maya Al-Halani. My name's Dan. Welcome along. Ed Vogel says, thoughts on Wade Graham 4-week ban? Atrocious. Atrocious. It was a penalty at worst, but I don't even think it was a penalty. But I've also granted that at the time, I saw it at the time, I haven't looked into it afterwards. I haven't seen any replays. Cut out pass here to Alex Johnston. Almost gets away from To'o, and he gets up over halfway. He's just ankle tapped. And they shut that play down, but They were looking on there, Souths. That was on for them. Johnston just couldn't quite get away from To'o, reaching out with the ankle tap. Fifth and last, Ilias with the high ball. Pressure on Edwards. Takes it cleanly at the back again for the Panthers. 20 minutes to go. 16-0. Yeah, I thought the Wade Graham ban, 4 weeks, was an absolute joke. At the time, I didn't even think it was a penalty. Granted, as I said, I admittedly have not looked into it too much after the fact. Haven't seen any replays or whatnot. Only what they showed on the night. On the night, I couldn't even understand why it was a penalty, let alone on report, and getting a 4-week ban. But whenever you do stuff like that, I always say as well, if you jump up in a tackle, if you leave your feet in a tackle, just the same as when you... A high ball, pressure on Thompson. Thompson loses it forward. It's collected by Panthers. They keep the ball alive. No, the whistle is blown. The knock-on is called against Thompson. Cleary, with that looping high ball, has had them under pressure all night at the back, and Thompson cracks this time. Yeah, whenever you do anything like that, you leave your feet in a tackle, you have your hand on a player in a kick chase, and they fall over. I always say, if you do things where you put the decision into the referee's hands, you're gambling. Wade Graham gambled, and he lost. Was it a harsh call? Yes, I absolutely think it was, but that's the nature of the game. You don't do anything where you put things in the hands of the officials. Yo with a settler. Can he play the ball correctly this time? Let's have a look. He's up. He plays it back nicely. And Fisher Harris with a head of steam. And now he's got his green underwear in the face of the South's defenders. They go to the left. They're lined up here in the left. Luai to the line. And Tago, Isaac Tungo, with the absolute single worst attempt at a tap pass that you will ever see in your entire life. I mean, it's definitely up there. Jack Mongshaw, South Sydney's useless tonight. Yep, they really have not. As I said, though, South Sydney, I think, were lulled into a false sense of security about their abilities. That game against the Sharks, I don't think that Souths were that good last week, but everybody was talking them up. Oh, how good do Souths look? They've varied their attack. They spent all last year attacking only down the left-hand edge. There was no threat on the right-hand edge. Look at last week against the Sharks. They changed their point of attack. They're a threat on the right-hand side now, everybody said. No, the Sharks were just less than useless. The Sharks were very close to the worst team in the competition after round one. Very close. Were it not for the Bulldogs, and only the Bulldogs, the Sharks would have been the worst team in the contest, in the competition. So Souths were made to look a lot better. I think they just got into a false sense of security, and now they've come out tonight and they've come up against a real team, reign-in premiers that really weren't that far off the pace. They'd only lost 2 games by 1 point each game. And Souths just haven't been able to step up to the intensity that the Sharks didn't even come close to bringing last week. And they've been on the receiving end from the very beginning, haven't they? Inside the first 10 minutes, Souths looked dead on their feet, just totally gassed. Out of breath, hands on hips, hands on knees, players bent over. And they just haven't fired a shot. But 16 and a half minutes, can they fire something? Out the back it goes to Ilias, cutout pass. The cutout pass is in front of the man. He can't collect it in, and Tango picks it up and almost gets away upfield. And there is another mistake from Souths. Things just not clicking. Terrible pass from Ilias, who looked so good all year so far through the trials, through the preseason. And that pass was just a little bit too far out in front of the man. And Thompson couldn't reel it in. Panthers just going through the motions now in many respects. Luke out of dummy half, up over halfway. Fifth and last inside South's territory. They don't have to do anything special from here on in. Panthers, 15 minutes to go. 16-point lead. High ball from Cleary. Nobody wants anything to do with it. They stand and watch it. It's kept alive. It's a forward pass. It's an offside. But Latrell Mitchell and Thompson just looked at each other and said, you catch it. No, you catch it. Hey, I don't want it. I don't want the bloody thing either. You take it. And that could have gone absolutely anywhere. I've got to say, Latrell was probably in the best position to take that because he was right there. He turned his back to make it seem like, Thompson, you're the one coming forward, mate. You take it. I actually think at the very beginning that was Latrell's ball. He didn't want anything to do with it, though. And the problem was neither did Thompson. Nobody wanted anything to do with that one. It's worked out for Souths, though. They're now in Panthers territory. They're on the attack. 30 out, tackle 3. But let's face it, so far, they haven't even looked like scoring a try. Can they bag a couple of late ones, though, and make this interesting? Mitchell, short ball, into the gap. Play on, Walker, 2. Johnston will score. Somehow that was allowed to stay alive. Alex Johnston scores in the corner. 16 points to 4. Kick to come. That's another tick on my multi. Most importantly, that is 2 out of the 4 legs done. Oh, he just got that pass away. He just got that ball away. You could very easily have a case to overturn that one. You could so easily have a case to overturn that one. Oh, so close. If his elbow touches the ground there, it's no try. I wouldn't want to be making that call. We're having a look at it. Oh, that camera angle's not going to show it. Oh, it has hit the ground. It has hit the... Try confirmed. It's gone up as a try anyway. It would have been hard to overturn. From the sideline, Latrell hooks it across the face of goal. Well, the problem is, Michelle, the rulebook doesn't say it certainly doesn't say in effing motion, but the rulebook doesn't say in the motion of passing. If your elbow hits the ground, you're tackled. Doesn't matter if you're in the motion of a pass or not. It doesn't say anything about that. That's all I'm saying. It would have been very harsh to call it back. It would have been very harsh to call it up, but to the letter of the law, it's no try. But anyway, it's on the board. It's been given. It's 16 points to 4. Oh, interesting report from the sideline. Some fans have been firing racial slurs at Latrell Mitchell, apparently. That will be investigated by the NRL, I'm sure. And if those fans are identified, they will have themselves a nice little spell banned from stadiums all across the country. 16 points to 4. 11 and a half minutes to go. Souths. Can that little bit of technical, to the letter of the law, luck spark them into action? Ilias from inside his own half has overcooked this by a long way. And the answer to my question is a very emphatic no. No, it cannot. It has sparked them into another error, and Penrith will have the ball. A full set of 6. Inside Rabbitohs territory. Yo plays the ball. 45 out. And you would have to say another try here for the Panthers probably puts this game to bed with 10 minutes to go. Yo gets the ball back and puts his head down. Takes a lot of post-contact meters. And they're just 20 meters out now. Salmon brings it back in towards the posts. Tackle 3. Are they thinking drop goal here, Panthers? They're actually setting up for a drop goal. They're keeping it in that channel in front of the posts, and I think the Panthers are thinking drop goal here. It's tackle 4. This is where it will happen. No, they run it. They go away from the post now. They were just trying to sucker us all in. Stay on the short side. Cleary, the grubber kick. It's tapped down. It's trapped by Graham, and Thompson comes away with it. 10 minutes to go. Maybe they should... Drop goal probably wouldn't have been a bad idea, actually. Cover yourself off from a couple of late tries if Souths happen to get their act together. There's a loose carry. It's been deemed a penalty. A penalty to Souths. Well, I'm getting all the calls in disagreement with the officials tonight, aren't I? Captain's challenge. Michelle, the Metal Maiden, says, so how's the cricket? What cricket? Oh, the dead rubber. The dead rubber over in India. Did that start today? Australia 4 for 219. In the dead rubber. Who cares? It's not worth anything. Just skip the 4th. Honestly, India had the series sewn up after the second test. Let's just move on to the Test Championship. Honestly, it's going to be India and Australia again anyway. So let's just get on with it. There's too much cricket already as there is. Way too much cricket in general with T20s and everything. Way too much cricket. Let's just get on with things. Don't play the dead rubbers. A BS chant. A BS chant rings out across the stadium on that call. The penalty stands. Panthers lose their challenge and Souths go on the attack. Tackle 4. Latrell Mitchell gets away from 1. Nearly gets through. Keeps the ball alive. And Damien Cook is brought down from behind. Souths are starting to fire a few shots at least. 5th and last. 10 meters out. What can they come up with here? Cook to the left to Walker. Walker, cut out ball across the face of the defense to... And he's chopped down there, Isaiah Tuss. Stephen Crichton, what a tackle. 8 minutes to go. To'o with the hit up. Great defense from the Panthers. Dustin Fisher says, I think the refs are honestly just making the rules up as they go this year. I think they've been doing that for the past few seasons. Quite honestly. Especially during the COVID year. Especially in the COVID year where there were no crowds. So the referee wasn't getting peppered with boos or the referee was able to make calls without any in-ground criticism. And I feel that's where it really went from bad. It was always bad. The refereeing standard has always been bad. But look, it's a tough gig. I'll say that. It's a tough gig. We all have to acknowledge it'd be a very, very tough job. But I feel like it just went from bad to just dead set shocking in the COVID year. And it's remained dead set shocking ever since. if not, gotten even worse again. But anyway, Souths do have the ball. You would have to suggest that this game might be gone for them. They just need to make it as respectable as possible from here on in. 16-4, another late try, and that's a bobble in the tackle. And Blake Tuff has just made a complete mess of that. 16 points to 4, 0 tackle, an error from Taff inside their own half. And if the Panthers hadn't already got this in the bag, I dare say they do now. I wouldn't even be surprised if they think drop goal now. Do the Panthers just set themselves up for a droppy and go 17 points 4 ahead? That would definitely secure the game. Or do they want more? Do they want 6 points? Knowing the Panthers, they probably want the 6. Where's Cleary? Just watch Cleary. Does he sit deep in the pocket? The next tackle will be when they go. Yeah, Cleary's deep in the pocket. They go the short side, though. And reaching out for the line is Liam Martin. And he's knocked the ball on. Liam Martin just can't get things together this year, can he? Poor Liam Martin has not had a most fantastic start to the year. I can understand in the situation why he went for that, but it's just not working out for him this season. Liam Martin's butcherings, if those work out, you've got... They probably win the game against the Broncos last week. They would have had 6 more points already here tonight, at least. Uh-oh. Jack's withdrawing support from Souths. To be fair, Jack, I wouldn't read too much into this game. Penrith, 2-time reigning premiers, probably going to win the premiership again this year. I don't think you can judge a team on their performance against the Panthers. Just like the Broncos are not suddenly premiership favourites because they won last week. Far from it. I think the Broncos will be lucky to make the 8 this season. So just like that, just like you can't judge the Broncos' sudden rise of form against one game with the Panthers, you can't write Souths off because of one game away against the 2-time reigning premiers. You just can't. Scrum midfield here for the Panthers. Inside the last 4 minutes, they will just wind the clock down here, I dare say. They probably won't risk injuries or anything by playing overly expansive. They will just settle in front of the post and probably take the drop goal. Well, we're even beyond drop goal range now. A drop goal is not really worth anything to them at this point. It'd just be to conserve energy. Martin with a good run, bumps off 2, is taken down in a 3-man tackle. Tackle 4, the 10 out, big open side to the right. Luai to Cleary, takes it to the line, it's out the back to Yo. Edwards gets involved, Crichton, Salmon, out to To'o. They were just going through the hands, but Souths had that well and truly covered off. 5th and last, Panthers. Cleary, low kick, bounces. It bounces kindly, but just getting his big paw in the way there is Kalamatangi. Dustin Fisher says, honestly, it's like me saying the Cowboys are not premiership favourites. Definitely not. Panthers are still premiership favourites. Anyone who says otherwise, based on one round, we're on the gas. Loose ball out the back. It stays alive, though. Rabbitohs, can they get a consolation try? Oh, they are keeping it alive. Tass kicks for himself. He's winning the race and scores. Isaiah Tass scores the try. They do get their consolation. And I tell you what, it will be a frantic last minute and a half to this game because it's about to be 16-10. Unless Latrell makes a complete cack out of this conversion, it's still on here. Keeping the ball alive. Mitchell dummies, draws in the defense. Tass kicks for himself. Plants it down. And Penrith may just be regretting not taking that drop goal now. Cleary was setting up for it.
It's a little bit frustrating. I reckon South fans don't. We'd like to see this a little earlier. The involvement is tough. It's not my own tax. I mean, just watching some of his movements and his confidence.
Great work there from Mitchell. Try confirmed. 16 points to 8. Kick to come. A frantic last minute and a half. This is such a crucial conversion. Crucial. And it's in. Latrell with the clutch. 16 points to 10. A minute and a half to go. This one is not over yet. What happened here to the Panthers? What happened? They went to sleep. They didn't take the drop goal. I've been calling for the drop goal for the past few sets. I did also say the drop goal probably doesn't bring them too much value. To be fair, I was on the fence about it a little bit, but Cleary was setting up for it. Nathan Cleary was deep in the pocket, but Liam Martin went and made a complete bollocking of the reach out for the try line. Gave South the ball back. Here we go. Inside the last minute. South's playing very expansive, finding space again. This is what they should have been doing all game. Tackle 2 up to the halfway line. They're going to get a chance here if they keep making these meters. Just shuffling it through the hands. And a nothing tackle there, but it's just a settler. 30 seconds to go. Tackle 3. Murray takes it to the line. It's out the back to Mitchell. They've looked very damaging down this side. 20 seconds to go. 2 tackles left. Short ball to Kolomatangi. Nearly gets through. This is it. Their last chance. They've got them backtracking on the right-hand side. Ball is still alive. Cook runs across to the left. They've got them skinned here. They've got numbers. The siren goes. The kick is through for Johnston. And just getting across is Dylan Edwards to save the day. Dylan Edwards saves the day, and he is laughing in Alex Johnston's face. Ha 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 ha. You can hear him. Those fake laughs. Ha ha ha. Dylan Edwards, the match saver for Penrith. He might not have got a try to go towards my multi, but he has just saved the victory for them there. Dylan Edwards. $16 points to 10, and that game was a hell of a lot closer than it had any right to be. 16 points to 10 does not tell the full story at all. That had absolutely no right to go down to the wire. Such was the dominance of the Panthers. 80% completion rate to the South 64. 64% completion rate. They had absolutely no right to be that close. Crazy, crazy stuff. It's Framey. You just won a $50 bet. Oh, good job. I'll drink to that. Well done, it's Framey. I didn't win any bets, but I did win my tip. And that will see me hopefully jump above some of those people that have gone Souths tonight. Jump up above them. Well, that turned out to be a very entertaining game at the end there. But it was pretty much all Penrith. It nearly panned out exactly as I said. They just left their run a little bit too late, Souths. And perhaps Penrith did just switch off. They might regret not going for that drop goal at some point, just to make it completely comfortable for them. Perhaps. But they'll take the victory. A victory of any description is good enough for them right now. They're on the board. The defending premiers. And that's all they really needed to do. So, 16 points to 10 here. Our second Thursday night, done and dusted for the year. We'll be back tomorrow, Wasted World of Sports, for the second half. The pre-game to the Broncos-Cowboys will be the second half of the Sharks-Eels game. So I do have work, so I won't be able to do the full Sharks game. But we're definitely doing Broncos-Cowboys tomorrow. It should be a cracking contest there in the Battle of Queensland. I'm leaning towards the Broncos. Sorry, Dustin. My apologies. I'm leaning towards the Broncos. The Broncos were very impressive in their win over Penrith. And the Cowboys were a bit of a mixed bag against Canberra. They had one very solid half, and they had one disastrous half that very nearly lost them the game. But it's always a good, usually, I can't say always anymore, because I think the Cowboys flogged Brisbane both times they played in the recent couple of years. But they're usually good, fierce contests between the Broncos and the Cowboys that throws up a few surprises here and there and some good talking points. So looking forward to that one. For a game between two Queensland teams, looking forward to that one. Thank you so much for your company here tonight, Wasted World of Sports. Don't forget our free tipping contest at NRL, free Discord where we share the gameplay footage. You get to see my screen and follow along with the actual gameplay as well. I haven't switched on my commentary over there as yet, but we'll be endeavoring to get that set up again in the coming weeks. And, of course, if you enjoy what we do here, Wasted World of Sports, if you enjoy and would like to support the channel and get some cool rewards in return, patreon.com/WWOS is where you can go. Become a member of the squad and get some, hopefully, what I think, anyway, is some cool stuff in return. All right, thank you very much. We'll catch you tomorrow for some more NRL 2023 Telstra Premiership. Until then, cheers. 16 points to 10 here. Penrith Panthers, the reigning premiers, back at it, doing what they do.